First set, first leg. It's Peter to throw first.
Are important for Peter Manley. Needs a settler. He's been on the receiving end of a few hidings from Phil Taylor, and he knows just to get something on the board early and something to work with. Dennis, a lot of people asking, how's the form and why you chose not to enter?
Well, I was off, like everybody, off with COVID. I didn't have COVID, but obviously we were locked down. I didn't touch a dart for 18 months. Thought it might be easy to get straight back into it, but it wasn't. I'd back trouble, knee trouble, arthritis in my fingers, and I just didn't think it was worth stressing myself out to try and compete.
28.
Look at this. This is the start Peter Manley needs. Yes, it's not explosive, but he'll take encouragement then from a slow start from Phil Taylor. And Phil has only been playing exhibition games, and it's been patchy. He says the practice is off and on. He's up the practice in the lead up to this event, but these are edgy early darts from Phil Taylor.
76.
Yeah, I mean he's a 16 times world champion, but I'll still be nervous as it's showing.
55.
You played in 5 finals against Phil Taylor on that stage then. You won the first one.
Yes, what happened the other 4, that's the problem.
Well,
but it's a remarkable record, isn't it? 16 world championships.
100.
Joined at the hip for 3 finals on the trot, weren't you?
Right, yeah. There was just one of them I was disappointed in.
Yeah, you always competed.
100.
And you opened up the PDC World Championship, the first game against Jockey Wilson when it was a group phase.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that, because the first 2 throws to the board, Jockey hit to 180 and I hit to 140, so it's not bad, is it? 5 travels out of 6.
And it set the standard for the rise of the PDC.
94.
Remember who the third man in your group was, Dan?
52.
Well, I had... good question. Good question, Mark.
From the northeast.
Graham Stoddart?
Graham Stoddart was.
100.
24 man.
Peter Carr 52.
The Open World Championship now at 96 and competing for a $500,000 prize.
Game show the first
Peter Manley.
Peter Manley
Takes the opening leg. We said he needed a confident start, and that will help. Phil Taylor won't be happy with how he started there.
No, he can usually produce that type of average with 2 darts.
When you come off the circuit, then it must be difficult to maintain
81.
that hunger, that level, because you're playing for exhibitions. You know, it's not that intense tour practice, and when you've got a tournament, you tick over by playing competitive
100.
darts. You must not pick them up from week to week, maybe month to month now, Dan. And
that's right.
Maybe Phil Taylor has done that himself, but
99. 100.
Manley. I think not many people gave him a chance here.
He keeps putting that odd one in, what counts.
A treble visit so far will be more than suffice, yet we expect Phil Taylor to get better. But so far, so good for one dart.
59.
They are a long way away though for Phil Taylor of all those.
He will be edgy.
85.
We thought nerves might get the better of Peter Manley. They look, I'm not saying getting the better of Phil Taylor, but he's feeling nerves. But this is better. This is more like it. There we see, and surely the first of many from Phil Taylor. First 180 of the match.
$85. Bonus like 82. Good
time from Phil Taylor.
Phil Taylor.
just when we were
But
starting
to throw
to talk about maybe a bit of nerves. 180, 82 out and levels at the opening set. And you were talking about the average then, and just like that, it's crept up to almost, well, just above 89.
Yeah.
But more like a Phil Taylor average.
Yeah, was it 262 in 5 darts?
Yeah, and it again gives Peter Manley something to think about. Peter Manley would have been
100
just to stroll his way through this opening set, but
83.
the winner of this match takes on Kevin Payton. How impressive was Kevin earlier on? 9 straight legs against former BDO world champion Wayne Warren. And we've talked about these having history.
40.
Phil does get through this. Him and Kevin have had plenty of history on that stage, so
100.
we talked about your rivalry with Phil Taylor, but has there been many duels with Peter Manley then? Have you maybe in the World Championship, has there been any little antics that are often talked about?
No antics. I believe I only played him once
64.
in World Championship. I can't recall many times actually playing Peter.
It's not a bad thing, is it then? There's a tendency to wind his opponents up. That the one we all talk about,
43.
Having it large, Adrian, when he managed to get Adrian Lewis flustered and walking off the stage. I'm sure Jackpot has had plenty of revenge since, but credit Peter Manley here, just regrouping.
98.
He would have liked to put a little bit more pressure
45. Peter Quar 56.
on this finish.
He'll be annoyed, Phil Taylor, because he likes to send out messages early in matches, doesn't he? And at the minute, Peter Manley is doing more than enough. Hold the throw, one leg away from the opening set.
That's what Phil used to do. He used to put the pressure on with a big score, just to let you know he was at back here.
I don't know if he did it when your rivalry is in its strongest, but I played him a couple of times. If he won the ball, then he'd put you in first. He'd want to send a message out that I'm going to break your throw early in this match, and I'm going to.
Yeah, well, he never did that with me, but I mean, I don't know whether he's done it in this game or not.
He's done it to me many a time, and to be fair to him, the majority of the time it worked out all right for him. I did get the odd win then, but not many of us have got a good winning record against Phil Taylor, if anyone.
My record was quite good until around about 1996.
You beat him twice at World Championships, didn't you? Both. And you went on to win. One was a final.
Yeah, the other was a quarter final in Embassy Lakeside.
40.
And you beat the late great Eric Bristow 6-0 in the final, and never really looked back from there.
I was actually 3 sets to 1 down in quarter final against Phil.
80.
And I did produce a few big finishes like Wolf has just done, which are the turning of the tide.
That's what you've got to do if you want to win titles. Yeah. And that, you say turning the tide, it turned that game, didn't it? He was in all sorts
41.
of bother in the third set. It looked like Howson was going to break and lead in the fourth set, but like you said, big shots change matches. It did for you back in 1991, and it did for Martin Adams. Just over half an hour to go.
Yeah, Martin will probably play all year and not produce 4 finishes like that. But that's the stage where you want to do it.
83.
And obviously you've been to this venue many a time, Dennis. It's my first time here today, and I'm surprised.
Is that right?
Yeah.
First visit?
Yeah, never been to the Circus Tavern in Perfect. Watched it many a time on the TV, but never stood in the arena. And it's a very small, intimate crowd, but such a great atmosphere, and played a big part in the progress of PDC darts. Now we're about to see another big finish here. Phil Taylor just
123.
under the double 12, but should tidy up and send us to a deciding leg in this first set.
60.
Yeah, Peter
Phil, you
needed
require 12.
140 there to put the pressure on.
Game shot on the fourth leg. Phil Taylor. Fifth leg Peter to throw fast. Game on.
Straight arm for double 6.
This is the leg. This is sometimes what's deflating about set play. Then you put yourself in a position to win a set.
60.
If you don't close out. Reliably informed then.
100.
You beat Peter Manley in the semi-finals on this stage in 2004, losing to Phil Taylor in the final.
Right.
100.
Richard for that.
Yes, thank you.
Fancy not remembering beating Peter Manley.
That's what happens when you start getting old. You start forgetting things, unfortunately.
100.
The last time I played on this stage, actually, your colleague who's just left, Paul Nicholson, beat me.
Oh, and yeah, en route to winning that
Yeah, he
title.
won it as well, didn't he? Yeah.
Beat Adrian Lewis, beat Phil Taylor. Went on to beat Mervyn King in the final. Incredible week for Paul Nicholson. He has mentioned it one or two times, actually.
Never.
81.
In the last 10 minutes they were, but great victory for Paul Nicholson, well deserved. That's good, guys.
Yeah, he introduced him to the
100.
to the stage, didn't it? The PDC darts. Who was this fresh young kid who kept calling him an Australian?
The Aussie Geordie.
Yes.
60.
My game before Paul's were a classic. I was 5-0 down to John Park. Thankfully we had a break. Came back and won 6-5.
We'll remind Party of that tomorrow.
For your car, 160.
Manley has played an okay set here and an okay leg. Yeah, the average isn't spectacular, but well, this would hurt. And that could hurt. That could be to 84. No gimme. And Peter Manley should get one dart of the ball, but if Taylor returns, he should be going 20 for tops. Manley's gone for the 25 on a ball, and he's got to find something. He does find it. He's got a dart for the set here, and it's at double 16. Just double checking. It is in, Peter. And he does tidy up that 84. I'm surprised not to see a show of emotion for Peter Manley. He is focused. That was a good tidy up there. Never nice when you've got to find a treble with the second dart, but that was a composed first set. Not spectacular from Peter Manley, but was convincing on throw, and he has a 1-0 lead.
Yes, it was enough. Which way do you think Phil had gone for the 75?
He'd gone for...
I don't think he'd have gone ball.
81.
He treble 17, but plenty for Phil Taylor to ponder. I think people just expecting Phil Taylor to pick up where he left off when he left the tour, but there's a difference between exhibitions and competitive play then, isn't it? And when you're not playing competitively, you don't practice as much, and
he'll feel the expectation, what's expected of him, and it's put him a little bit more pressure on. Thought he'd just come here and walk away with it, and it was never ever going to be that easy.
These are competitors. These are all winners in this event. They've come off
99.
the main tour, but they still want to win. Kevin Painter, a prime example. Martin Adams. Saw John Walton winning this afternoon as well. Good performance. Impressed with Larry Butler. You remember him then, don't you?
Just a bit. Yeah, that was the first one at Blackpool in '94.
60. $45.
At what point will Phil Taylor start to panic then? set play, you can break it down. He won't be too flustered yet, but his throw gets broken in this set. There'll be a little bit of edginess, won't there?
140.
There'll be edginess. I think only time he'll panic is if he goes 2-0 down.
86. Phil requires 61.
And he knows the level of play isn't great, but yes, he's a set down, but it's just 5 holes to throw, isn't it? He holds here.
That for treble 15, it was a mile off.
Game shot of the first leg. Phil
That's what counts.
Second leg Peter to throw fast. Game on.
Pins the little 16 and confident hold from Phil Taylor. Last match 85. Of the evening still to come. Trina Gulliver, the Golden Girl, taking on Robert Thornton. It's Robert Thornton who got the tournament underway, beating Bob Anderson yesterday. Been an incredible day's action.
60.
I'm frightened for Peter if it goes 2 sets all and they're playing a 5th set.
97.
He's not the fittest guy in the world. Whereas Phil were telling me he pumps a little bit of weights.
140.
It's a hot stage then, isn't it? It's a real intimate arena, low ceiling, and a packed crowd.
78.
It's heating up in there.
I know it's a long time since I played here, but it just seems smaller now than when we played here.
Well, I think Kevin Payne said the stage is smaller. You had a bit more of the stage when you played.
And I was just wondering whether the stage might have been a bit further back to where we are now in the commentary.
Yeah, possibly.
41.
But regardless, a very intimate stage, isn't it? And the
sure is. And
the comparison when you, sorry to cut you off then, the comparison when you left here to go to Ali Pali, it was a real contrast.
81.
Like a country lane, coming from a country lane onto a motorway.
Yeah, good comparison. The biggest stage in world darts, Alexandra Palace.
68. Phil Car 161.
Taylor starting to assert himself slowly.
81. Phil Car 132.
Right, treble 19. No, it's tied it up brilliantly there.
Phil require 80.
Good dart from Peter Manley. There's a good marker on the ball had he got the treble 19, but Taylor, for what would be a first breaker throw in the match, 20 for tops. It's not normally a problem for Phil because his darts sit down. He doesn't block the double top, and then it proves, and a breaker throw. Taylor in control of set 2.
Game on.
Your darts then used to land similar to mine, and 80s and 60s could be awkward, couldn't they, if you were sitting up and there was a lot of shuffling around to the right and left. And
that's right. And yeah, when I first started playing darts, we used to trim his flights down like Phil's, make them small so that they would lie like Phil's, because we used to play on the double board.
41.
And when you're going for tops, you know, you wanted to lay them under the wire, and for some reason I changed to a full flight.
47.
We were mentioning the Terry Jenkins game earlier on, whereas he kind of ended his career on the main tour on his terms. He just wound down. You did it similarly then, didn't you?
81.
You kept your talk. At the time, you already had a talk card, and you just drop in on the odd event. But was it easy to sort of let go then, or was it kind of when you were doing it, I wish I'd done a bit more, or were you ready?
I was
45.
ready. I was ready. If there'd have been the money in the game, I was ready after probably the 2000 final, to be fair. But
41.
There wasn't the money in the game like there is now. And in 2020, I'm 50 years old. I don't want to be going picking a pick and shovel up at that age, so I just persevered for another 10 or so years. And I did pick odd
60
Pro Tour tournaments up.
Yeah, you did. I always remember then you used to sit there doing your crossword, and then I'd refresh my phone and see who's in the final, and so more often than not I'd see your name there. I was thinking, I've been practicing all morning, but that sort of laid back attitude, it wasn't to your detriment, and I think you played relaxed. That's what Terry said he did towards the end, and he just cherry picked when he wanted to play, and it's always good to step away from the game on your terms. Contributed so much.
Yeah, I was happy in doing it that way.
100.
And Phil Taylor wrap up this set. Here we go to a break, remember, after the second set. Peter Manley's average has been pretty much there for the entire game. Phil Taylor peaked around just shy of 90, but this has been pretty much the level of play then for the majority of the match, hasn't it?
136. Peter Carr 153.
I'm surprised they asked when he must have not known both those trebles were in.
Peter Manley just checking, but he probably knows he's throwing his last dance in the second set.
Phil
Taylor to wrap up set 2. Up for double 9. Not happy, is he? But
14.
playing good darts, double 9 at
Peter Carr 100.
Manley, outside chance to prolong this second set.
Yeah, let's see if it's true to his name. One dart. Oh no, that makes a real mess of it. Anywhere but one.
22.
Surely this time
Phil 18.
they split this double 9. Nope, no straightforward it looks like.
Yeah.
Right decision, and Phil Taylor breezes through that second set.
First leg is Peter to throw fast.
Peter Manley.
Game on.
Peter Manley has played the same sort of level throughout, and he's looked focused, hasn't he? He's not playing like the Peter Manley. Remember, there's a few sketchy darts, but he'll be concerned the way he just let Phil Taylor dictate that set, and Phil Taylor not playing at his best. But like we said, you can't just expect these players to come up here without the match practice. We just assume that they play like that all the time. You've got to put the hours in, you've got to practice, you've got to have the competitive side as well, and
55.
Players will be enjoying this. And both look really focused. There's signs of nerves as well.
Yeah, the other players what's through, they'll be thinking, right, we've got a chance here if this is the standard.
60.
Phil's going to set, but if he wins this one, there's nothing saying he's not going to be in the 90 average
100.
next game, is there?
Oh, it's Kevin Painter who awaits the winner. He was, he was flawless, wasn't he? 9 legs without response against Wayne Warren, the second whitewash of the day.
81.
Larry Butler whitewashed Alan Warren a little earlier. Alan struggling with a bad shoulder.
Yeah, Alan's another guy. I mean, he's not
85
for a long while.
And he hasn't really done exhibitions, had he?
No.
He sort of he's involved with the PDPA, and he just sort of
that busy with it. I was speaking to him earlier. He's been that busy with with Players Union.
95.
Yeah, and his phone never stops going, Alan Warren. It
84.
120 tour card holders plus the backup tour. Doesn't find time to practice, but to give his arm some rest now. But take anything away from Larry Butler, he was impressive. He sets up a mouth-watering match with Keith Della tomorrow.
Peter Carr 149.
Yeah, be a good match that.
$29.
Now this is
So
the fourth consecutive leg, and ominous signs for Peter Manley then.
Yeah, sure.
Game shot of the first leg. Phil Taylor. Second leg, Phil to throw first. Game on.
He's always had that stickability though, Phil. He sticks in there. He can be flamboyant, but he can grind as well. well, you don't become 16 times world champion and all the other titles without
60.
having a lot of qualities.
When you played him, then it's probably different to when I played him, but I felt sometimes
81.
even the start of matches you couldn't afford to miss, and it made you miss. I mean, you were obviously a lot more experienced playing him than I was, but that's the pressure he put on me when I played. And when you play against someone in good form, it sort of makes you feel you've got to get 140 times tons weren't enough. And I'm sure in your era that there was times where you probably played well but got nothing from the game.
Right, exactly. But he used to come up with these big finishes like Martin Adams has just done. I'd mind to miss the dart at double, and I'd look, and the first treble was in, and
60.
I seemed to know that it was going to be that leg gone already.
They had
60.
presence, didn't he?
He has the knack of putting the proper score, the proper 3 darts in just when it's needed, and that's obviously a sign of a true champion.
That's what Michael Van Gogh referred to, didn't he, in his pomp? Doing the right things at the right time, and that's certainly what Phil Taylor did. And as we say that, he hits 22.
Yeah,
26.
Peter's not took advantage of that. I see that little bit of fatigue already, what I mentioned earlier.
Just wiping himself down with a towel. It is a hot stage, isn't it? And
it used to be 100 degrees plus when we were playing.
83.
It'll be no different now, I won't imagine.
it won't be. Peter Manley, he'll be kicking himself really when Phil Taylor averages 82. There's a big opportunity, isn't there? Peter Manley just had to put, he didn't even have to go with it, just sort of maintain his level, which it was around about 79 for their first couple of sets, and that was getting him through.
See, 16 here.
136.
Up again.
Yeah, he's warming to the task, Phil, now, isn't he?
Yeah.
It's as relaxed as he's looked in the match.
$42. Phil, you require 40.
It's not a great guide. Across the double 10.
Game shown in the second leg. Who's
Cleaned up nicely.
Perfect Peter to throw first.
Clinical. 5 legs on the spin.
It doesn't always have to be the first dart mark, does it, when you've got 3 in your hand?
60.
Just that visit. It's like they say, 13 dart leg really is no better than a 15 dart leg. It's in that visit. Just get it done. And
That's right. All it affects is your average, if that's all you're bothered about.
61. $76.
so do you have the odd throw now and then just as a loosener, or just completely?
Completely nothing. And I'm pleased about it. I think Peter's ready for Tenerife on
100.
Tuesday.
Well, he's getting some warm weather training on that stage.
Yes, he is, yeah. Getting used to warm weather.
55.
He's frustrated, Peter, isn't he? He knows he can play better, and you've seen his reaction to that last visit.
100.
Yes, he knows as well that if he did play anything like he has been playing, he'd be in there with a real
80.
shout.
Just sort of 8-9 points on that average would they give him a big chance. Newly crowned Masters champion Joe Cullen played Phil Taylor in an exhibition the other week, and he said Phil was a bit edgy ahead of these
60.
Senior World Championship, but
140.
this is where maybe his presence has earned him a few legs here. And he made Peter Manley edgy, made Peter Manley miss.
Well, that's what it used to be.
100. Feature your car
presence
170.
Was halfway to winning. You're playing Phil Taylor and you're edgy to start with. Who won the match, by the way, with Phil and Joe Cullen? Did you hear the result?
Yeah, Joe beat him. It was only best of 5, but
40.
Joe Cullen, that's the difference. You play this match practice and
yeah, match sharpness. That was one of our drawbacks
20.
in the early days. We'd play the Embassy in January, and then we might be 3 or 4 months before we played another match. What was crucial. And now these guys.
Game shown the third leg. Peter Manley. Fourth leg filtered through first. Game on.
The lads on the professional tour now. The competitive week in, week out.
yeah, you go from one tournament to another. Mentioned Peter Manley there, half in the deficit, stopping the rot. It was 5 consecutive legs in favour of 16-time world champion Phil Taylor. Peter Manley hanging on in there. It was a good finish on the 65.
55.
Taylor looking to take a 2-1 lead.
59. 43.
Trying too hard a bit now, Peter, then, isn't he?
Yeah, it's only 5 margins. It was, it was only centimetres from being treble 20 instead of treble 1, and
60.
The fine margins we work on.
Find a treble here, Peter.
60.
It wasn't a million miles out this leg, but just can't find a treble 20. 9 darts thrown. Not spectacular this leg, but Taylor with the advantage. Lead of just shy of 60 plus these.
85.
140 would be nice.
100.
Not to be.
Yeah, Phil Taylor, without being spectacular, we've harped on, but doing enough and rattle through the second set relatively easily.
82.
Of this third set, and it would be a set against the darts. He would have the throw in the fourth. Is he finally breaking the spirit of Peter Manley?
I don't see the point of Phil
98.
to treble.
Fill your car 115.
He has had some strange counting methods, Phil Taylor, hasn't he? It hasn't hampered him too much, you'd have to argue.
You said that again.
59. Feature car 145.
We saw some big shots from Martin Adams, but this would, you'd have to feel, eclipse all of them, because where we are in the match, that's unlucky. There's a well thrown dart.
87.
I was wondering why did he rock back on his heels. Was he shocked that he hit the treble 20 or didn't know what to go for?
Phil missing the big number.
36.
Peter Manley.
Now then, yes.
Feature car 58.
This could be a breaker throw.
Peter Manley looked done in this set. He was 2 legs to kneel down, and it was all Phil Taylor. He finished 65 on tops. He can't
18.
finish 58. He knows.
Phil
He's missed a trick there,
20.
one dart.
He knew the significance of that, didn't he?
Game shown the third
Been
set.
made to pay, and from nowhere he had chances there. Peter Manley kicking himself, and had he won that leg, then he'd be throwing for the third set. But
Yes.
instead, he needs to find a break now. Phil Taylor in control. His average shy of 80 here, but there is some nerves up there. But Taylor takes a 2-1 lead. 3 holes to throw away from a place in the quarterfinals where Kevin Painter awaits.
45.
Well, Phil will know himself that his performance, if he gets through this one, has got to be remarkably a lot better when he plays Kevin.
27.
He won't cut himself some slack. We've sort of explained the situation then, that match practice is vital, isn't it? Competitive practice. He hasn't had that. And people, like we say, will just expect Phil Taylor to railroad through this match, but it's a lot more relaxed approach to the sport now, and doing enough so far.
100.
I mean, after tonight, if he wins this, it's
140.
a warm-up, and he'll expect himself to get better, and he will do.
It's often the case then, is the tougher the challenge, which it will be with Kevin tomorrow, if Phil Taylor finishes the job here, you know you've got to rise to the occasion. I'm sure Phil will. Many a time in tournament played, then you've played many a tournament, won many a tournament. And when you win, and there's always that game where you've been a bit sketchy, but you've managed to grind your way through. You need that in your locker. All the top players have it.
Certainly do. And this man's been the best at it.
$95.
See, he wouldn't. Previously, he wouldn't have studied with that last start. What went in treble 5.
98. Phil requires 61.
The beauty of set play. 2 sets to 1, Phil Taylor. It's actually 8 legs to 4 down, now 9 legs to 4, but there's not that much of a gulf in the scoreline. You can break down a comeback in set play, you know that. You just got to regroup. Whereas leg play, you're 9-4 down, it's disheartening, you can't find a way back in. In set play you can.
Yes, that's right. I preferred set play, to be honest.
$81.
And at this stage,
I mean, whichever one gets through here, Mark, I wouldn't expect a performance
100.
Like this anyway in the next game.
No,
from either player.
Yeah, and they know that if they do, chances are they'll come up short against Kevin.
Oh, definitely. Oh dear.
7.
You see the Phil Taylor fans, a sarcastic cheer for the 7, and a little wave from Phil as well. 2 legs away.
41.
Here Manley not hammering home the advantage.
I'm expecting a big score here now.
Good adjustment. That's the dart he works with then, isn't it? If it's not a turn 80, that one below. Seen it many a time. And you called it then? You expected a big score, he delivered.
95.
I remember it in a 3 in Embassy, and I was so mad with myself. I followed it with a 180.
You kind of throw the next throw wound up, don't you, then? And it's
100.
And I'm thinking, well, that's a 91.5 average anyway. Yeah, there's little things in games what changes the mindset.
58.
A big finish turns the game around, and it gets you more motivated.
I kind of saw that with echoes your point you made about Martin Adams.
Right.
It's changed the tune of the game, but Phil Taylor has had just a bit too much from Peter Manley, and he's on the brink of completing victory. But another one of them, unlucky.
136.
He's letting know he's there anyway.
John Walton giving us a wave. He started proceedings today with a victory over Les Wallace. Phil Taylor looking to get John Walton with a victory here against Peter Manley, throwing for the match. Remember, just joined us, Phil Taylor dropped the first set, but being in control. Not he's convinced himself, but in control since set 2.
85.
I think we're both expecting Phil to tidy this up now, aren't we?
Yeah, Peter Manley.
100.
Peter's got different ideas, or he should have.
Well, Peter Manley's got to clutch the fact that he was 2-0 down in the previous set. He made it 2-1. He should have made it 2-all then.
Should, yes.
And then you never know, but he's just got to hope that
96.
there's a bit of finishing line nerves for Phil Taylor, but he just can't see anything but a Phil Taylor victory here.
100.
Sticking in there. No, that's a bad dart. That's why he's swapped.
Yeah, that
96.
first dart, myself and yourself, Dan, we like to be there, didn't we? Above the treble, something to work with, but complete opposite Phil Taylor. He likes to stack up on top.
43.
Peter Manley, and breathing space now.
Right, before I forget, else I'll get some right stick from my daughter back home. My daughter Kerry, she's 47 today. My favourite daughter. I've only got one daughter and 3 sons. That's why she's my favourite daughter.
Yeah, we echo that. Happy birthday, Kerry.
58.
Yes, happy birthday,
Photograph
sweetheart.
124.
On Kerry's birthday, can Phil Taylor complete a job over his old rival Peter Manley, just being afforded the time to set up.
Yeah, that's
92.
nice thinking, that.
Could be Peter Manley's last 3 darts in the inaugural World Seniors Championship.
And
Played his part.
And if it is, 140 is a nice way to go out.
And it is his last dart. Peter Manley took the first set against Phil Taylor, but from there Phil Taylor rattled through the next 3 sets.